certain chemical works, with the true practice gathered into a true method. By Edward Nowell. The Preface to the Reader. When novelties or strange events ensue, when we beholding greatly do admire but being stake, or common to our view farther to gaze thereon have no desire, thus I affirm. For that I know in man such secret wonders in ye world are none. Having a body the world representing in which God's image is so lively set, I mean ye soul. Which is our understanding within our bodies pure and delicate, wherein such wonders are more secretly knit as more to seek will more delight thy wit. Then what thou art, having care thyself to know thy substance, state, condition and degree, the rarest wonder that ye world can show is represented in thine own body. Elements vegetable and mineral are all contained in thy animal. God by his power the world of nothing made, which nothing is immortal seed most sure of which ye world took root that cannot fade but firm and stable to ye and endure. After which image man was framed, I say, in ye same seed, joined to a fat tie clay. First no tongue is able to express, nor pen can write the wondrous works of God. His hidden secrets will he not confess, nor make them common, flying all abroad. His divine wisdom clearly doth foresee to place his gifts to each in their degree. To some he doth his knowledge more impart than unto some, whose natures divers fall. Others again more skillful in this art, and such wise men philosophers we call, among the which many delight to see how nature each thing frames in their degree. First they divide what she united had, by which they find three principles as ground, in everything that nature forth had led. Mercury, salt and sulfur pure are found, which elements of earth, water and air, do make their quintessence, which they call fire. Of this again a medicine pure they frame, which sees sick bodies from infirmities. This pure elixir is the very same that cures the metals of foul leprosy. This is the jewel which so few can find, though sought of some till smoke ye eyes do blind. Whose lux with skill compared, may fitly be they want ye vessels Hermes used to bear, which if they had smokes they should not see nor half such tolling. Out their cloaks to wear neither whole years, nor charge, they should not spend, but in short time attain the happy end. Wherefore be well advised ere thou begin, what is ye substance whereof gold is made? Then boldly mayst thou surely enter in and take upon you this most worthy trade, for many thousand herewith be deceived, and of their error will not be bereaved. And thus in hope thou wilt observe this rule, and with attention, understand it well, remembering Virgil since thou wast at school, and Ovid who of famed heavens tell. And know their gods who was to each their sire, so mayst thou come to attain thy desire. Likewise do learn our mineral spirits three, from whence they rise, arsenic of which being one, the other sulfur, ye last mercury. The fuming spirits chiefest of our stone, one of those poisonous, with his piercing breath congeals quicksilver to a solid earth. But if thou think this strange and far untrue, then make a trial hereof, if thou wilt, taking my former counsel given you, if otherwise. Your work is surely spilt, but I assure ye, if thou have our stone thou shalt attain thine own desire anon. Author to Reader. Now, gentle reader, on ye I bestow a secret which as yet thou dost not know. If this my book thou read with good advice, shall find ye sayings of ye wise, how sundry works compiled are in brief light charge, short time, which two I hold as chief. All is not writ, some doth behind remain, which is a whetstone for to sharp thy brain, that it may cut as keen with wisdom's edge thou mayst attain to make ye golden wedge. Let nature therefore grave within thy heart that which by writing no man will impart. Which is a thing so easy for to gain, that understand well will requite thy pain. Then praise the author where thou comest in place, as higher powers above shall give ye grace. The author's will and testament. If from this life of breath I be bereaved, then as a log, a cold, a breathless stone compare my carcass, which I have bequeathed to sleep in rest till resurrection, where flesh and bone to dust shall there decay, until they join again at latter day, until which time relics lay as rags, of an esteem, but yet my soul divine. Let it ascend out from the earthly dregs, among the angels up in heaven to shine, whereof no tongue be able to express the glorious love and joyful blessedness. And he who shall this book and verses read, if by the same he profit chance to find first in my love, I wish him to dread, and let my chaos be within thy mind, that thou mayst shew thyself a grateful man to think on him which is dead and gone. The author to all the faithful sons of philosophy. I write to such as have desire to see into the grounds of true philosophy. But unto such as choke themselves with smells of earthy fumes, come from mean minerals, or else from stinking odors, against kind such of my verse but little good shall find, until they first these rules do listen well, to which most briefly I mean here to tell. Then know that the philosopher's first ground is everywhere, yet hard for to be found. Yet England hath it always in store for 20,000 philosophers and more. This matter next unto the soul of man, more precious thing God ne'er created none, and 'tis offence unto his Godhead still with violent hands this stone to wrong and kill. Yet nature's first invention must be let before the first material you can get, else earth with will quake and groan and sadly grieve if you will touch ere nature will off leave. For when as nature she has done and wrought, there we begin, or else our work is naught. One chaos rude as God this world did make, to man his little world from chaos take. Proportion several is therein, I ween, of gold and silver, 5 to 15, not common gold and silver which is dead, for that is living which is in our lead. If thou canst free him from their prison dark, I will account of thee a learned clerk. For I assure thee, in a shower of rain, cold, heat, moist, dry, here, soft, therein remain, both thick and thin, a body, spirit, and soul. Which mercury, salt, and sulfur we do call the four elements. Thou therein shalt find fire, water, air, and earth, by kind clear then the prison, and then set him free, and place them richly in a fair city, walled strongly about to keep them from their foe. Then hast thou rid them from their greatest woe. When in this city that a while they dwell, the heat therein will make them look like hell, for that their body never did abide so hot a climate as they felt that tide. But use will make them well for to endure a stronger heat, when season will procure. Then will they strip them to shirts, I fear, till white as snow to sight they do appear, under which white is flesh red as blood, which will not show till they have passed Noah's flood. Then pearl and ruby will they give thee, store silver and gold. What wilt thou wish for more? Prima materia. 1. Prima material, which many can of clatter, is not found in aught which earth imbowels, nor on earth growing comes our first matter, as vegetables, herbs, fruits, or flowers, nor animal, nor excrements thence flowing, or anything that on earth is growing. 2. Yet in each one of these thou mayest find 3 sorts of humours therein do conjoin, as water nourishing the earth by kind. When sun it burns refreshed by rain, so is the first. Next, oily radical, which is the substance of heat natural. 3. Last, humour watery as cement knitting bodice of stones, metal living as dead for mercury. Salt and sulfur being united together and equally spread as taste, smell, and color, the quintessence call of vegetable, mineral, or animal. For our salt, a dry water and lively is he, which many for quicksilver did it take, but the 3 spirits our mercury must be, and the 3 spirits our mercury, of which we must make our noble elixir, both white and red, our a drop so precious, and our red lead. 5. First matter of metals is clammy like glue, quicksilver a nearer made of the same thing, then leakable sulfur joined with them 2, whence vapor doth rise, and to the earth cling. Continual heat making decoction, and thereby made a metalline fusion. 6. Our stone, one thing of elements 4, being the earth and body, wherein earth dissolving air and fire, the soul our compound ripeneth. All those well from one thing thou mayest divide, which one thing known doth all things else exceed. 7. To give the light what this one thing may be, when of the first this hour had of birth and bearing life, which vegetable growing till ripe as grass his state quite overthroweth, it is our chaos, as I erst did tell, if what I said thou do remember well. 8. Then not accepted but as base cast by, yet of the wise is held in great esteem, to bring them health, wealth, and free liberty, and from all thraldom will he them redeem, if by true art they have the means to use him. For worldly wealth they never will refuse him. 9. If that thou wonder where thou shalt it find, I answer thee that thou in every place art sure to see if thou be not blind through nature's mantle covered hath his face, but if thou canst it not yet understand, look that with speed thou do withdraw thy hand. The principles of nature and of art. The grave philosophers in time o' yore divinely wrote that gold within the ore as other metals first engendered be of sulfur and argent vive called mercury, and gold say they springs from another mine where argent vive and sulfur red do shine, which by our artificial fire not great. The purity thereof we may complete, that is more perfect by a 1,000-fold than either Indian or Arabian gold which is concocted by heat natural. Within the bowels of the mineral for heat perfecteth all things in his kind. This must the artist know if he will find, this must the artist know if he will find the narrow way that God to nature gave. Is boil, boil, boil if fruit thou seek to have, and this by seething doth dissolve congeal. Learn well this lesson if thou wilt prevail, and patience have with thy continuance, lest too sharp fire cause much grievance. Yet as the infant food first is weak, but stronger as he grows and learns to speak, so at the first our work has easy fire, and is increased as ripeness doth require. So at the first our work has easy fire, and is increased as ripeness doth require. And in a vessel that is made threefold sure, sealed up therein concoct thy gold. For our one thing, that is to wit our stone, and by one way which is decoction, and in one vessel do we putrefy, dissolve, congeal, and seethe continually. First grows he black in dissolution until the end of putrefaction. That as the moisture doth congeal and dry, gay orient colors therein thou shalt espy, and afterwards true whiteness shall appear like fish's eyes or diamonds shining clear, thus white at last when water yields to air, which yields to fire, then red it doth appear. And often yellow red changing hue, and oft it melt, congeals before whiteness true it doth dissolve. Color and putrefy, killing itself, reviving joyfully after his whiteness, do increase the fire, keep safe the ashes which thou dost desire, which God shall give thee molten crown to red. Which king, philosophers have honored. An excellent work. From nature's four united into one, draw forth the menstrue of our precious stone. Bodies calcined therewith dissolve to water, which them is brought into his own first matter. His parts divide the subtle from the gross, so shalt thou gain when others live by loss. The unfixed light spirit superior part of stone, which is made pure by distillation, then joined with the inferior part purged clean from parts superfluous, 'tis the earth we mean by calcination, and solution is brought at length to quick ceration. Then both are purged by putrefaction, and wisely handling sublimation, this oil of sulfur made of trinity doth Geber call his oleagivity, or aqua secunda. For the second place 'tis our tincture ferment, and our gold and form of metal secret doth unfold our sulfur tincture, and our gory blood which must pass waters of Noah's flood. His qualities are to consolidate into a medicine, he will penetrate as meat or nutriment of sulfur true, and doth convert and multiply thereto, doth purge and cleanse, and also giveth life to sun and moon, to husband and to wife. It will conjoin natures that disagree, to wit I say the spirit and body, between which two is the pure oil, the mean and natures of them both it doth contain, without the which they never joined will be. But as a dust on metal it would flee, the reason is that humor radical, that is chief cause that metals melt at all, is here defeat for imbibition's lack, which to be fluent often see thou make. This fixed earth the humor will embrace, and earth in humor rejoiceth in like case, fixing the same against all fires, trial against the humor earth makes volatile. Hereof it comes that both being truly mixed is fixed volatile, and volatile made fixed. The elixir fusible dissolve in semo, fixed parts calcined often see this, thou do then fix them till the elixir that they tin, which must melt quickly mercury to stain, and after into perfect sun and moon, which else from fire will flee before they join. This elixir is medicine which doth cure imperfect metals of extreme sulfur, corrupt that form, and bring another pure with golden tincture. Ever to endure to try elixir of it be perfect. On copper plate melts some with gentle heat, if without smoke it spread, and tin throughout is incombustible and perfect, then no doubt if that our medicine thus purified with splendor of our moon be garnished. A short work. By long concoction of our watery stone is sulfur made of air and fire alone with middle air make the red earth to flow of this quicksilver philosophers allow which will not moisten but congeal a main such flying spirits as it doth retain and mercury called the first essence must drink 2 parts of this for his defense to join our sulfur and our mercury mix and fix them to our lunary. Congealing both in our mercury water. Which of all metals is the first matter our earth of crude silver our gold alone for in all tinctures is an inward stone our quicksilver is a spirit quick of life ferment to bodies being man and wife. It is our air and our fire fugitive penetrating bodies and giving life mercury salt and sulfur lovingly join as sperms of creatures certainly. Our agent body we do call our loon the patient mercury which to him must join the menstrua nourishing them in the pot is made of the salt of alumbrate. 3 days in milk at first our stone is sure then add we salt to blood like flesh impure which in the water will coagulate then are his members framed to good estate and then his soul God on it doth bestow that is to say a power wherewith to grow then springs our ferment which we call our king which drops of water from dead earth did bring our stone made quick and born as here you see with milk. At first do nurse him carefully to 3-part elixir being grown strong give but 2 parts of food for doing wrong 1 par of elixir more than food the better to digest and conclude. Another work of the whole magistery. 1. Whoso intendeth our rich stone to make nature's true grounds at first must not forsake 2 sulfurs which 2 mercuries contain 1 red and moist. 1 white and pure and clean which spirits and Bodus first calcine with fire and then again turn earth to perfect air. 2. Dissolve to gum which hyle we call the which to air distill again you shall earth so to water that to air you turn which air to earth again congeal and burn. Wash not the womb with too much water clear for so you may extinguish quite the fire. 3. Moderately feed it at each time you may digest then distill the phlegm away for fixed shall the volatile remain. Which then sublimes to air or volatile earth ferment his soul and then you have our birth. 4. For body spirit and soul sure knit on one is our elixir and our precious stone, which oft dissolve. Congeal with water clear till fixed oil no fire's force shall fear which oil calcine into a powder pure to white or red elixir have you sure. Another. First putrefy thine elements together then separate them first with easy heat by distillation purify with water but air and fire by sand with great fire the fiery soul outdrawn with spirit of water. Which bring on his white foliate soon after the spirit retains the soul without annoy. And soul the body willing doth embrace by means of spirit each one in other joy the fire or soul distill dark clouds deface then will he make of silver, gold in view and eke the white of copper. Silver true. So bring this work into a perfect white put feces of this fire. Distilled with earth being deprived of all moisture quite then shalt thou have a new conceived birth when this dry earth hath drunk of moisture full 50 part that it can drink no or which feed at. First by drops and light calcine, but first digest in cyme for a day increase the fire wisely at every time if too much water be then it's a troubled sea. But if too little then burnt to cinders it been therefore in feeding always use a mean the earth having drunk of quicksilver his fill and is most white with fire it then sublimes for foliate earth. Like ashes up shall still which separate from the inferior dust shall be and further profit shall thou never see this sulfur white dissolve in water red and oft congealed dissolve sublime the whole. And the white sulfur like to dust shall spread the white will copper turn to silver pure the red turns silver to gold most sure. Another. This fountain red of life original whose subtle spirit is fire natural attending on moisture radical a quintessence fully spiritual and aqua vitae most etherical whose nature is well near incorruptible. 2. This spirit wit a gentle fire uprose heating the pipes of water when it did press his liquor mercury, flame sulfur shows the last from sal ammoniac tells no less this spirit rectify well. Lute well the glass lest the exceeding subtle spirit outpass. 3. The middle liquor likewise keep aside reserve the phlegm with which his feces laver let them digest till they have water. Then put on fresh reserving still the former continue this till water. Be dyed no more which keep aside as erst you did before. 4. The feces will like crystal clearly shine which do provoke both seed and urine store to cleanse the stomach liver and the spleen and other virtues it hath many more in his curcubit close the head. On cover put on his spirit 2 inches floating over. 5. Set this on ashes to digest a space the spirit separate cleanly from the grounds then pour on fresh continuing the like case till black feces be quick smoking found then hath the crystal animated the spirit with a tart balsam ferment doth inherit. 6. Then in a glass these spirits firmly close cover in sand where flame goes round about which in 6 days is white as any rose calcine and fixed is the earth no doubt with a 4th part then of spirit animate let both a day by balneo incorporate. 7. In ashes out a water weak distill pour on more spirit doing as before until the fixed salt retain his fill and that the water lose his force no more which weighing is increased full 3-fold. And fixed then make volatile be bold. 8. This matter then within his limbeck close receives his sulphureous humidity then for a day his ashes repose after increase the fire warily. For 20 hours that no fume appear but crystal pearls stick on the glass most clear. 9. In porphyry mortar beat this matter small powder on that sulphur which was last distilled moderately feeding till imbibed it be all which for 4 days in strong athanor being boiled is our great lunary and balsam radical sulphur of nature and true mercurial. 10. Dissolve this sulphur philosophical in rectified spirit taught before close them in pelican hermetical to circulate that too they seem no more this our azure water celestial dissolve gold to last perpetual. 11. From Marion and salt niter may distill by easy heat a spirit mercurial a sulphureous oil by stronger fire come will and fixed salt of salt original by force of fire yet will beneath remain and thus 3 salts extracted are from twain. 12. Which fixed salt within his limbeck lies yield until him mercury again 2 days digest extract the phlegm aside and volatile with fixed that will remain treble the fixed that it flight may take. Sublime thy sal ammoniac them to make. 13. Within this limbeck close the cover sure increase the heat after 3 hours space in highest degree let it stand 6 hours more receive the flower of salt come through the glass whose orient colors know. Man well can know the fixed feces whiter lie than snow. 14. Powder these pearls and put on sulphur oil which liquor first let putrefied be then for a space together let them boil till fixed melting like to wax you see this is the soul or man the spirit to join that from his body nevermore will twine. 15. Behold the earth with fatness doth abound by virtue of niter's 2 flying spirits by sublimation falling on the ground the growing substance quickening life inherits this is our balsam and fire. Natural niter from sulphur ammoniac mercurial. 16. From pitch lees sharp oil strong fire extract let feces dry with phlegm 3 fingers cover 6 days in bath digest in water red, in act. Have drawn the tincture, put fresh, then cover, digest, extract in all points as before until the waters be colored no more. 17. Calcine the sulphur, fixed salt to gain which oft dissolve congeal with his own phlegm when crystalline in snow it doth remain imbibe him with his airy spirit of phlegm the watery substance then distill away the volatile. With fixed salt may stay. 18. And when you shall exceed the same 3-fold by fire sublime the foliate earth to gain clearer than pearl and richer than fine gold. And yield to him his sulphureous oil again join 3 in 1 which is our leaven tree first branch whereof we call antimony. 19. The balm of gold his mercury is such it purgeth men. The sulphur of the same will silver gold till trial of the touch which put in fire yet it will take no flame within the flowers doth the salt abide purging by vomit when it shall be tried. 20. The mercury of this antimony devouring Luna may well be called swallowing up gold in his custody killing the quick, again of life installed. And this our quicksilver is original of crude quicksilver and all mineral. 21. The radical moisture fountain clear where Vulcan washed Venus at the sea so clear that no impure spot appear but shine as brightly by night as sun by day this precious liquor is so rare a thing which health and wealth into our state will bring. Another. 1. Of white and red first was I bred, and menstru did me feed. Now am but much like a stone, but am no stone indeed. I lay like slime shut for a time, heat changed my former shape. I was a fine as any twine when first in womb I lay. In darkness pressed, I long did rest before I came to light. Then grew I big, as does the twig, with puissant strength and might. 2. Then mark we well, for down I fell, as each thing has his time. Now cast away, as filthy clay, which was at first but slime. So loathsome sure, few will endure me in their hands to hold, but yet the wise, me not despise, they think me rich as gold. Can you not tell then? Mark now well from whence I first was sought. 3. From paradise, so say the wise, that Adam first me brought. Now where I dwell I shall you tell, and where you may me find, I am in thee that readest me, this note bear well in mind. With letters 3 you may name me, and in 3 me divide by fire's might, which in your sight, these 3 are quickly spied. 4. An oil first mark, or water dark, will seem as red as blood, a salt will fly, and soar on high quite separate from the flood. These 3 in one, we call our stone. Our chaos which doth hold as we do read, the perfect seed of silver and of gold. You must divide and set aside the earth from water and air, to dry the mud by heat is good till then to touch forbear. The outward heat hath wrought this heat by help of inward fire. The which did fry to powder dry this muddy earth our mire, on which you shall let water fall and dry the same again. This, as I say, is called our clay and water of the mine. This is our toad which here is showed, that drinks the grapes so fast. 5. Until he swells, as Ripley tells, till all his bowels brast. Being of such might, he devouring as is said, for waters all drink up he shall, which then is called our lead. Here not I feign, but teacheth you plain the first work of the 3. I show our stone, to every one that will advised be. At the next birth, our foliate earth, I purpose to declare, until which time, I cease to rhyme, and wish you to forbear. Of true principles. 1. Wise Geber, Hermes, Raymond and the rest of grave philosophers so darkly wrote to none but sons, this secret they expressed for ignorance they understood it not. They want the principles of nature's ground, for by expense this art is never found. 2. In vegetables and animals of kind which stranger be from nature of metal true principles of this art is hard to find. Common vitriol we do expel, sulfur or common quicksilver we use, for we from metals do our subjects choose. 3. But he which hath a wit most natural, a searching spirit into nature's ground, and follows nature in her actions, all not reading much which will the sense confound, by his own reason he may well confine how nature frames the metal in the mine. For metal threefold within their roots we find, far off a mine and some more nearer be. If thou canst wash the sulfur and calcine with salt and vinegar orderly, knowing in metal our matter is contained. Sulfur and mercury is all wise men meaned. 5. Sulfur alone can never metals make, but if he joined be with his argent vive, congelation and fixation will they take. Preparing sulfur thou shalt see, believe that many skins above there shall appear, which in short time will grow dry, white and clear. 6. For engendering metal and the elixir eke, the sulfur as the father, it is the mercury the woman menstrue, like art imitating nature oft in this. And in the work doth nature overcome, there are out principles both all and some. 7. A double fume doth penetrate our stone, wherein the sulfur privily doth lurk and mix itself with mercury alone, and are decocted there by nature's work, where she converts them to a metal pure. Learn nature's secret and then keep it pure. 8. When first the vapors shall be lifted high and descend into an earth rose red, to common quicksilver they turned shall be, from imperfect metals vitriols are bred. The sulphureous species prepared right are turned to mercury, sol and luna bright. 9. This is the seed whence metals do begin, and of diversity of mine or place, and of the sulfur pure or not washed clean are metals altered, some fine some base. These accidents from radical seed take, and then thou mayst the true elixir make. 10. In metal-lying Bodis are sulfurs twain, and their mercury by calcinations which was a salt, and to salt is turned again of a true calx the kind, and fashioned sulfur and mercury give fixation within the earth by long conversion. 11. Our arsenic doth of these participate, wherefore hermaphrodite we do it call, but of itself no metal may beget our tin and lead, our salts ethereal Mars and Venus, two fumes from sulfur rise, the which from vitriol dissolved comes. 13. White fume a red within his belly bearing hath no actual nature of element, called a boar, a lion fierce and tearing, being indeed our true quintessence. The copper mine is salt which Saturn called, but Saturn is our chaos holding all. 14. Perfect Bodis dissolve into water, our sulphureous species clean prepared for fixed Bodis are hard salts in nature which we make flying, and the flying fixed again, the manifest we hide from sight, and which lay hid we bring again to light. 15. From feces burnt our mercury we draw multiplication, with which must be mark well this secret, following nature's law, and many wonders art thou like to see, but first prepare then fix, last multiply. And these three orders follow warily. 16. Our stone as king which in himself is rich wants nothing which to it doth appertain. Geber talks much of marcasites, by which our stone of philosophers he doth maya, which elixir we call, being mineral and also vegetable and animal. 17. In this our stone consisteth all our skill, using a natural preparation in it is gold and silver to his fill, not common but spiritual in action. This gold is potable and radical humidity of sulfur, called the soul. 18. Our aqua vitae from our stone descends, and many liquor we extract from thence, among the which some wash and some do cleanse, some do congeal, and some are a defense that fire do not vitrify our stone, and thus we make use of every one. 19. Black, blacker than black we do our sulfur call, when he grows black in calcinations. But divers colors before white do fall, and when citron, and lastly a carnation it is blackness doth endure 40 days, 40 in whiteness, and 40 the ted wise. 20. Elixir doth itself coagulate, formed like an egg, but that his shell is tender from it take not, nor add to his estate. Break not the shell for loss of spirits tender, but nourish it with heat till at the last extracted colors all be gone and past. 21. The poets hid this art in fables dark, under Hercules and Anchises' power. Preparation of sulfur how to work by Jupiter, turn to a golden shower they teach, the distillation of our gold which wise men for a secret great did hold. 22. By Minerva armed we do understand that water distilled, which water of sulfur is by Vulcan flowing. Minerva armed is sulfur following the water of his, and in his salt in putrefaction, which congeals all by fire's action. 23. By Mars our sulfur they do plainly show, by tin our air, and oft our earth they mean, by the phoenix which always doth receive we know. Our elixir how to multiply certain, by Demergagus' tale we bring to life, which is the secret that is not so rife. 24. Thus poets all their works in fables feigned, because the art should never be attained. A brief parabolical description of the stone. Though Daphne fly from Phoebus bright, yet shall they both be one, and as you understand this right you have our hidden stone. For Daphne she is fair and white, but volatile is she. Phoebus a fixed god of might, and red as blood is he. Daphne is a water nymph, and hath of moisture store, which Phoebus doth consume with heat, and dries her very sore. They being dried into one, of crystal flood must drink, till they be brought to a white stone, which wash with virgin's milk. So long until they flow as wax, and no fume you can see, then you have all you need to ask, praise God and thankful be. Verum verissimum. The true work. Wise men will read seek and seek in this latter age, but miss to find for which too sore they sought. Time, goods, lost spent have put some in a rage to seek the thing which will cost right not a piece of earth congealed by nature's might, much like a stone, but is no stone in sight. Prepare this substance to dissolve with fire, from whence three things at once by heat will rise, of which 3 pints the wise men did desire. To which they put a salt congealed like ice, and then these 4 things did distill again, whence salt with oil dissolved did rise with rain. Fire natural with seed of gold and oil remains below, which we dry up to dust in out Athenor we continually boil, which dry clay moisten oftentimes we must, for oft we grind, imbibe, bury and dry, in which the stone doth kindly putrefy. This lead dissolve like butter somewhat soft, dissolve in balneo, what will thence arise? When fire of sand will rise 2 fumes aloft, a white and red, called arsenic of the wise. The feces black, calcine in fire you may till they be white, or else look somewhat grey. In 13 weeks this earth thou white shall see, wherein 3 parts of water knit shall be, these fixed bodies volatile shall be, if this first water on again you put to cover it in a small quantity. Digest in sand on night, the head on shut. In balneo distill the water weak away, but volatile with fixed salt will stay, continue this till water lose his might, and that the earth increased be 3-fold, by heat sublime. Comes sal armoniac bright, more richer far than any Indian gold. This white-leaved earth, divided into 2, and in 1 part the soul again must grow, this soul is arsenic, which likewise divid from greatest part sever. The white from red into fixed oils with fire let them be fried, which are the lights, true leavens for our bread. For when the soul and body be made on, these are the lights which must ferment our stone, the foliate earth which did behind remain dissolve in bath, and make our virgin milk, the which must feed our infant born again, till be he strong to wear a suit of silk. Then with our gold and silver set in order, let him be guarded with an orient border. Carmina lapidus. Out of an old written book. This world is in a maze, and what you why forsooth of late a great rich man did die, and as he lay dying on his bed these words in secret to his son he said, My son, quoth he, 'tis good for thee I die, for thou shalt much the better be thereby, and when thou sayest life hath me bereft, take thou what thou findest, and where I have it left thou dost not know, nor what my riches be all, which I will declare, give ear to me. An earth I had all the gnome to expel, and that I cast into a mighty well, a water eke to cleanse what was amiss I threw into the earth, and there it is my silver, all into the sea I cast my gold into air. And then at last into the fire, for fear it should be found I threw a stone, worth 40,000 pound, which stone was given me by a mighty king, who bade me wear it in a fair gold ring, quoth he. This stone is by that ring found out. If wisely thou canst turn the ring about, for every hoop contrary is to other, yet well agree, and of the stone is mother. And now my son, I will declare a wonder, that when I die this ring will break asunder. The king said so, but yet he said withal, although the ring be broken in pieces small, an easy fire shall soon it close again. Who this can do, he needs not work in vain. Till this my hidden treasure be found out, when I am dead my spirit shall walk about and stay with him, till you may riches have. Make him to bring you fire from the grave. These words a worldly man did chance to hear, who daily watched the spirit, but near the near, and yet it met him, and every one yet tells him not where is this hidden stone. Microcosmos. The Adamical matter we may understand to be the pains of this most little world, wherein we plainly see all things that needful are, and nothing over, plus our fiery mercury, it is by art prepared thus. The true hermaphrodite Adam, and the true little world, the which among the wisest men so highly is extolled, when corporal salt with waters quick our spiritual mercury and sulfur animate be mixed and joined naturally. Then nature doth begin to work by her separating fire, by which impure sulfur is divided from the pure, and earth from salt is separated likewise, and mercury from the faintest water of the clouds, as nature can devise again, decoct these pure parts into a body pure, in the which soul and spirit both are fixed firm and sure. This is the only milk and stone which nourisheth our king, fro the which union again our mercury doth spring, mercury philosophical, not common of the mind, but our accidental is, which will with bodus join, for being fixed it father is of wonders great and small, it is both body and spirit, which we magnesia call, but our first composition of earth parts, and dry the body of magnesia we call it certainly. But when quicksilver we do join in bodus to congeal magnesia we do call it, this rule may never fail. Our stone being raw we water call, wherein contained is Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus, our filth of silver cleaned, which being in quicksilver. Magnesia I do mean white sulfur we do call it, but being boiled red is gold, coral, and orpiment and leaven for our bread. Boil, grind, and wash the body, cleanse and make his hardness mesh, his fiery tincture hide, which is his soul and flesh must in another spirit rest, for it is life not dying, which to another body join, and they will both be flying, that is our Mercury sublimed of air and fire light, united both in wedlock band, and made our sulfur bright, Mercury, salt. Sulfur spring all from one rock, and mine fix salt and sulfur to congeal, Mercury not to twine in them is such affinity in spermating aright the agent body lune I mean, and Mercury his light, which patient is the nutriment, which menstruous we do call it, is the salt of almabrat, the which congealeth all and doth revive the dead from death into a lively stone. By means of water, 'tis born nursed by decoction, the spirits they will ne'er dwell in bodus foul and hard, till they calcine to dust be with simple spirits prepared. A problem. Behold the thing which quiets every mind, which many seek, but very few can find. Here view the dead, where nature can no more work on her core as she hath done before. The last of birth is first of joys. The cause and first of joys is last of nature's laws. When first and last by art is wisely framed, then shalt thou see the bear and lion tamed, the flying dragon and the serpent lurking. In waters wild shall close be set to working. If this my verse be dark unto thy sight, and then in scenes it nothing the delight, then in good truth set all thy works apart, and trouble not thyself with this our art. For if thou be bit of a pregnant with thy humour right, for that they plainly show the mine where gold and silver both do grow, and eke the way to work and bring to pass, as nature in the mine, so in the glass. With equal heat continuing to the end, thy precious stone with little charge to spend much may be said, but briefly to conclude, they have much writ, but only to delude the philosopher's brass. Our golden tincture springs from Bodus, for where souls called sulphurs lie hid with their power, first earthy bodies joined to our bras do call. Our body of magnesia name you shall, but when the spirits be congealed with clay and putrefied magnesia call you may, but in the time of putrefaction call it you may. The philosopher's Saturn, when quicksilver is in the body congealed by grinding, washing and boiling, is prevailed. Then Bodus soft, pure and subtle are found, quicksilver burning Bodus in one bound. The soul our tincture is in other spirit hid, and spirit to another body is wed, our fiery poison bringing this to pass. Being decocted long within our glass, till Bodus be like butter or like brain, or that the spirit will ascend again with gentle fire, then sublime the soul which will ascend fro the dregs corporeal by art. Make part of this quicksilver red, divide in two parts to stand thee instead. Mix one part with those things do of our brass, dissolve, congeal them all within the glass. The second part is food to feed this youth, at 7 times we give it meat for truth. 2 parts of brass in tables beaten small, full 7 parts of venom add you shall. This sea water with very gentle fire dissolve the Bodus to our own desire. But when you see that blackness shall appear, the Bodus then be molten without fear, in which sea water boiling 4 days, a flower of white salt to the top will rise, most shining white to sight it will appear, congealed by heat, our white stone called air. If one of 3 parts water you congeal, and keep 2 parts of water, you do well. This foresaid compound being white and dry, by strong fire it into ashes fry, which then will shine like ashes somewhat green. 7 times dissolve it, and congeal again with mercury reserved before. And to this I need not to write more. Heaven of the philosophers. Our heaven yieldeth to each growing thing both moisture, dryness, heat and chilling cold, for that our stars such influence forth do bring. Saturn and Luna, cold and moist spirits hold. But Sol and Mars have spirits hot and dry, Joval's hot and moist, these bear rule on high. Our fixed salt, which is our heaven's ground, whose diamond circles glistening from the sky are shining fires and burning comets round. From sulphureous substance which flame and dry, which in mercurial spirits shine so clear, proceeding from the substance of the air. Sulfur in flame, and mercury in wind, earth volatile gives air taste sharp and sour, which sulfur, salt and mercury we find from whence the air her influence doth pour. Within the thunderbolt is salt full fixed thus. In the air all three be duly mixed. From crystal clouds of heaven doth descend a water weak, from water doth distill a subtle air. Mercurial liquors send the waters gross, which sulphureous parts did fill our penetrating air more gross of spirit than do our earthly mercuries inherit. The elemental bodies visible appear in two, one moist the other dry, a sandy earth, deprived of taste or smell, unsavory phlegm, from whence quick spirits fly thereto. The passive having lost the strength, and so is air deprived of force at length. The elements their active qualities to mercury, salt, and sulfur do pertain, the passive to their bodies in like wise, and so salt, sulfur, and mercury do remain, which by an oil are joined all in one, and water, air, and earth by water alone. Thus by a mean we see a conjunction made. As sand and water by a fatty lime thus makes the dauber mortar by his trade, so air and earth by water well do join, and fire extracted as from other three, quickening the principles when one there be. A fourth essence, this air, fire, we call from form and matter of ye elements three, which is the soul that animated all the bodies of our principles that be colors to forms belong. This spirit and soul and elements clean unto matter corporal. The proportions. On fixed bodies fix our sulfurs twain, but first prepare our ferments pure and thin to nourish youth by quick corrosion, and to his nature bring the sulfur Indiana. This sulfur enters nature by a mean of his own water, which it doth retain. So in waters dissolve our sulfur first, that into bodies it may better mix, then into ferment thrice dissolve to dust, and by often iteration will our sulfur fix boil air and mercury not fixed thereon, that both may take a fit impression. Let ferment white 3 times his sulfur bear, and earth must equal air and water, or more, as 2 of water 1.5 of air, and 3.5 of earth, or less than 4. Fix water on earth and air on water, then shalt thou have a perfect matter. But to thy gold let earth 2 parts suffice of water, 3 as much of air do take, 1.5 of fire. If thou be wise, let weight of fire half the water make, if color want add medicine as before, if too much color then put matter more. Grind 3 parts silver with mercury 6, 1 part white sulfur with his water, with 1 part more water likewise let him mix, then with strong fire sublime both anon, and that which on the vessel clear shall shine, with his own water pour on dregs of wine. Grind, seethe, and roast till pap it be mixed again sublime, it doing as before. Reiterate this work till earth be fixed with twice his weight of water, and no more. Then in like sort by drops with air it fed with gentle fire when it shall need. And in this sort fix all this air you may both day and night with fire, then strong it bake. Let fire increase the second night and day, but in the third the stronger fire make this substance feed upon a vehement fire till like to wax it melt to your desire. A declaration of the first matter with the order of the work, the name of the author and his profession. Even as the rocks which bind thy solid earth, doth microcosm in itself contain worlds, coin the lees which bringeth forth a birth. Adamical matter foul and unclean rectify this, as nature doth us guide. Distill, calcine, and earth from air divide. Mesh oft thy womb with oil, water, and air, oft dry and grind till earth have drunk up all, which done dissolve again this earth to clear, even as before distill that which will fall. Let feces black calcined be by fire, like to burnt salt but in color somewhat higher. Or cover this with his first water bright, 4 fingers overplace it, then in sand distill again till water lose his might and be as faint as water of the land, and this continue till increase you again fourfold at least, and then sublime again. The foliate earth, which is our fire, will rise over the head and hang as white as snow. Receive this flower that's honored of the wise, dissolve with milk, and let the infant grow except 1 part of this be made a child, your labors lost and you yourself beguiled. Return the soul and spirit to body, dead earth or ashes which we had did rest. Nurse well this infant, being newly bred milk let him have from his own mother's breast, until such time he strongly may endure new food to eat, his courage to procure. Good gentle reader, understand my trade. Iron indeed the basest metal is, rest thee content through gold I never made by gains of metal. All my living is, and credit me if that thou be of skill thou wilt in love requite my great good will. To the deriders of alchemy. What follows oft consist in learned men, whose quick invention shewed by their pen can write a tragic story or devise some comic toy to please the viewer's eyes. But miss to see how blinded some be still to write against arts wherein they have no skill, and oftentimes to please both fools and sage. Will cause their work to be acted on a stage. This bringeth gain into the poet's purse. The fox fares best when most men do him curse, and when he cannot well obtain his prey he discommends the thing. As many say to such as write against this art divine, not knowing aught thereof, do grudge and pine. But if such quick conceits should change their style, and know wherein the wise did them beguile, where in their books their writing they obscure with offers great, the simple to allure, for that such readers wanting art or skill break pot and glass, use bellows coal, and still so gold and silver multiply with brass, and in the end can nothing bring to pass, threadbare their clothes, their members out of frame, abuse the art. Not knowing aught the same such workman Chaucer in his tale doth flout, but the true art commendeth without doubt. And so would all our poets if they knew the mine wherein our seed of gold doth grow. What do they think themselves to be more wise than Hermes, Arnold, Bacon, and the rest, who by their writing had this art expressed, but yet so darkly writ that few or none can know or find the meaning of our stone? Such as know not and nothing seek to find their writings vain, and they themselves as blind in this art, I say, though I sight clear and quick their wits as by their works appear, yet let them write not against but what they know, and for the same can a good reason show. True alchemists, though few, such sure there be, do know full well with what art doth agree. They seek the thing nature did work and frame, and having ended she did cast away the same it had a time, the which time did expire, and his new birth began by force of fire. And every one who doth not know his price esteem it not, but yet the learned wise account thereof as the only thing on earth that living dies and hath a second birth. Hard as a stone, but once was soft and tender, small as a hair, white, pure, and as tender. Now like an egg in nature, not in show, by fire from thence will divers liquors flow. Earth white and red our chaos doth enfold, which we concoct and bring to seed of gold, which seed we mercury and sulphur call, from whence all metals spring, both great and small. Not common brimstone or quicksilver crude, but foliate earth and arsenic to conclude, of which by long concoction we do frame a powder red, which elixir name aurum potable we do it call, when into oil it is dissolved all. But to divide our chaos in his kind, in Genesis or Esdras you shall find water and air. From earth God first did take, then muddy earth with fire did dry and bake, within which earth all treasures hid do lie. But air as wind about the earth did fly, unto the which I fitly may compare the scoffs of such as here mentioned are. Finis per Edward Nowell.